journey to excellence begins. It's Green Bay Packers preseason football on the Packers TV Network.
And a pleasant good evening from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. It's preseason game number 3 for the Green Bay Packers, and tonight, taking on the high-powered Philadelphia Eagles. And a pleasant good evening, everyone, along with former NFL MVP Rich Gannon, Kevin Harlan. Thank you so much for joining us. A loss last week for the Packers in Pittsburgh. A win week 1 in New England against the Patriots through 2. What do you think?
Well, Kevin, we talked earlier about how impressive they were on the road against the Patriots in week 1. Last week, I thought they took a step back. And I really think it started when Jordy Nelson went down with that knee injury. The team didn't respond. I didn't think they were as effective and as aggressive on defense. Offensively, way too many mistakes. A lot of work to get cleaned up this week.
And as you've been talking about the depth on the offense, one of its great factors heading into this season, including in the backfield and led by Eddie Lacy.
Well, he's probably been the most impressive player on offense aside from Aaron Rodgers the first couple of weeks. I mean, the way they run the ball. Keep an eye on Josh Sitton, the left guard, and John Kuhn against the Steelers last week. This downhill power play where they get the kick out on the 3 technique and Kuhn's able to lead up on the linebacker. To me, Eddie Lacy looks like he's picked up right where he left off a season ago. He is running with power and effectiveness early inside for the Packers.
Rich, on the other side of the ball, we're finding that there's good pressure, good pass pressure on opposing quarterbacks by this defense.
Yeah, the pass rush looks terrific, Kevin. 10 sacks for the first 2 games, and it really didn't come from everywhere, and that's good. Every level of the defense. Mulamba gets the party started. Jones and Elliott, they team up for a takedown. And, of course, Julius Peppers picking up right where he left off a season ago against Big Ben. To me, when you get it from all 3 levels of your defense, defensive line, linebacker, and secondary, all getting pressure on the quarterback, you're doing something right.
It's another sellout at Lambeau Field. The first game the Packers have played at home in the preseason. The Eagles, the Packers. Our kickoff is next. Welcome back to Lambeau. The first quarter tonight sponsored by the Wisconsin Dental Association. Routine dental exams cost less per month than the average cell phone bill. Visit WDA.org to find a Wisconsin Dental Association dentist near you for affordable care. Beautiful night at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Temperature right around 75 degrees. It'll drop as the night goes on. Let's go downstairs to Rod Burks.
That's right, guys. Well, this will be the Packers' first game without Jordy Nelson. Will be lost for the year, so it'll be next man up for the Packers receiver. Devontae Adams expected to play a bigger role in this Packers offense. His quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, says he has superstar potential. Jeff Janis has an up-and-down training camp. He wants to play well tonight. And Ty Montgomery, the 3rd-round pick out of Stanford, he's going to want to catch the ball, too, as well. Now I'm going to kick it over to Olivia on the other side of the sideline. Olivia?
Rod, I see Aaron Rodgers over here dressed in sweatpants, confirming what we predicted. He will not play tonight. But Scott Tolzien, his backup, is fully dressed out, and I just learned he has cleared concussion protocol. But as we discussed earlier, he hasn't practiced all week, so we're still not expecting him to play tonight. They said he's available in just an emergency situation. So with the start is rookie Brett Hundley. He had a good first outing in New England, less than stellar in Pittsburgh, but a great opportunity tonight for him and Matt Blanchard with the first-team offense. Rich, we were talking before the game, playing time tonight is invaluable for these young quarterbacks.
Olivia, it really is, and plenty of opportunity for both these young quarterbacks, Hundley and Blanchard, and I have to imagine that Brett Hundley is a little bit nervous right now. Chance to play with the ones against the Philadelphia Eagles, a very good defense from a season ago.
Mason Crosby has the ball teed up on the 35. The Eagles won the toss, and they are receiving. Rasheed Bailey, a rookie out of Delaware Valley, is deep. It's the Packers, it's the Eagles, it's Lambeau, and away we go from Green Bay. This is Bailey, and then he finds that Mostert will take it the other way, and Crosby will push him out of bounds. Raheem Mostert out of Purdue, a rookie. And the tackle made by the kicker. And a 67-yard return for Philadelphia and great beginning field position.
Yeah, not what the Packers were looking for to start on their kickoff coverage unit. And they just let Mostert kind of slide out the side door. Have to do a better job staying in your lane and containing and forcing the returner back up inside.
Here's Sam Bradford. He's had a litany of injuries, Rich, throughout his career. What's your read on him?
Well, Kevin, you're right. I mean, he's obviously missed last season with another knee injury. Second year in a row he's missed because of a knee injury. He's still a work in progress.
He goes outside on 1st and 10. It's DeMarco Murray with the tackle made by Clay Matthews at about the 35, 34. It is a gain of 5. Boyd, Raji, and Daniels on the defensive line for Green Bay. The linebackers with Matthews and Barrington inside, Neal and Peppers on the outside. 2nd and 5. The former Cowboy, DeMarco Murray, who led the NFL in rushing a season ago, brought down on the play after a gain of 5 by Burnett, close to a first down, with the secondary of Shields and Haywards at the corner. Burnett and the second-year player out of Alabama, Clinton Dix, in the safety positions.
Well, the officials will get their workout tonight. They'll have a really challenge spotting the ball. This is a up-tempo, fast-paced offense from the Eagles.
Sam Bradford out of Oklahoma. With the 1st and 10, it's Murray. On behind, he was hit by Clinton Dix. Also on the play, brought down by Mike Neal. The catch and run takes him down to the Packer 21.
And DeMarco Murray led the league in rushing last year with 392 carries for a team record, 1,845 yards and 13 touchdowns. Played in all 16 games for the Cowboys for the first time in his career. He has to stay healthy as well.
With the 2nd down and 3, and it's a first down run for Murray, who got tripped up by Barrington and falls ahead of the 13-yard line. Gain of 8. And a first down.
And Kevin, this is a great challenge and a great test for this Green Bay defense, just in terms of their communication. Not going to be able to substitute much. Philly, we talked about how fast the plays come in from the sidelines from Chip Kelly. Communication going to be absolutely critical as Philly changes personnel and formations.
Packers in the nickel. Hyde is in. Opening series. It is a 1st and 10 from the Green Bay 13-yard line. Bradford got the ball and pitches on the wing, and the run here by Ryan Matthews, who began his career as a first-round pick at San Diego. He picks up 5. He's down to the 8.
Well, you hate to lose good players like LaShawn McCoy, but it was a financial decision for the Philadelphia Eagles. You trade away McCoy, and yet you pick up DeMarco Murray, able to keep Darren Sproles, and you also pick up Ryan Matthews, who's a terrific player for the Chargers the last couple seasons.
Clinton Dix made that tackle. Sproles is in. 2nd down and 5. Bradford, Sproles, Eagles touchdown. They cashed in with the mismatch they wanted. Barrington was covering the electrifying Darren Sproles. A touchdown pass of 8, and Philadelphia's on the board.
And that's the matchup they wanted, Kevin. The running back on the linebacker, Sam Barrington, and that's going to be a challenge. You see really nice touch pass here by Sam Bradford, but Sproles too difficult to cover in the open field. Good design by the Philadelphia Eagles, and a good start for Sam Bradford.
67-yard kickoff return from Raheem Mostert.
And you got Tebow in the game for a 2-point conversion.
Exactly. Here's Tim Tebow, 4 years out of Florida. They'll try for 2. Tebow takes it himself, tries to power drive it in, and comes up short on the play. Pennell, one of the couple to make the stop inside for the Packers. It remains 6-0 Philadelphia. It was a 6-play, 38-yard drive. Special teams costing the Packers on the opening kickoff. Returned 67 yards. Then Sproles from Bradford, 8-yard touchdown pass. 6-0 deficit. Here comes the rookie and a 5th-round pick out of UCLA, who has really progressed as camp has gone on, Brett Hundley.
And what a great opportunity, Kevin. We talked about this 3rd preseason game historically being the game where the starters play most of the first half and sometimes into the 3rd quarter. No Aaron Rodgers tonight, so the rookie Brett Hundley gets an unbelievable opportunity to play with a number of the starters, including Eddie Lacy and Randall Cobb.
Couple tight ends for Green Bay. Lacy in the backfield. It is 1st and 10. This is Lacy, hit by Connor Barwin. And a couple others, and it picks up about 4 to the 24. You see the line tonight. Taylor, Lindsey, and Walker inside. Barkley at the left tackle. Balaga at the right tackle.
Yeah, 3 starters out. Of course, Barkley has to play better, Kevin, on the edge on the left side.
Packers did open up with a couple tight ends, so the Packers have opened up with 3 wide and a tight, with a fullback and 2 wide, and now here 2 tight ends to start things. And now on second down, long 5, Kuhn has come in with Hundley under center. Lacey again, no place to run that time. Initially hit by Benny Logan out of LSU in a loss of 4 on the run by Lacey.
There's really nowhere for Lacey to go, and you get a look at that Philadelphia defense. And we talked about changes. This is a Philadelphia team that's had a lot of changes, a rebuilt secondary, offensively, a new running back. Again, Chip Kelly not afraid to make difficult decisions when it comes to that roster. Significant turnover both offensively and defensively.
Now, if Rodgers is in there, the no huddle is in effect. With the rookie quarterback, you can't quite do that.
No, this is going to be a scaled down plan early for Hundley.
It's third down and 9. Lacey is in, offers a block, and outside they go. Cobb.
He couldn't hold on.
He could not. He becomes the #1 receiver now. And look at holding on to that right shoulder, right arm. And that is not good. Incomplete pass. And they will look at Cobb. 3 and out the Packers. They've got a punt.
A really nice throw here by Hundley. He puts it right on the numbers. And well, Cobb just not able to hold on to it and squeeze it as he goes to the ground.
They're looking at Cobb. Mike McCarthy, I think, has challenged the play. Yep.
Green Bay
That
is
was the catch
challenging
and he
the
was
ruling
in.
on the field of an incomplete pass.
I can't imagine they'll win this one. Looked like that ball was coming out as he went to the ground.
Packers are going to challenge the catch. Cobb appears to be okay on the sideline. We'll update that story when we come back to Lambeau. Jeffers is our referee. He has taken a look at the Green Bay challenge with the replay in communication with New York to see if Randall Cobb was indeed in, caught the ball and got a gain of 12. What do you think?
No catch.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass. The receiver did not maintain control of the ball throughout the process of the catch. 4th down. Green Bay will be charged with their first team timeout.
A little bit high here from Hundley, but still terrific effort from Cobb. And then as you see him going to the ground, the ball's moving. You've got to maintain possession of the football through the ground.
Right, so the Packers have got a punt. Mastay is back. Rich talked about him last week, struggling with hang time and other issues. Deep back, boy, there was great pressure that time. Kenyon Barner is deep back, and he waves it off. And the Packers circle around, hang time of 4-4. And there was pressure on Mastay, who had bunts blocked a season ago. We're all too familiar with that scene. Low snap, too.
He really throws it out there, and again, the defender gets pushed into him. But they've got to be feeling somewhat uneasy about his performance so far this preseason. He struggled in the second half last season. 5 of his 8 punts in Pittsburgh. Had a hang time below 3.9 as we look at Randall Cobb heading to the locker room. You're right, Kevin. That's a big especially considering what happened last week to Jordy Nelson. He just gets scared.
Like a stinger, maybe.
Yeah, his shoulder. You just get scared playing your starters now in the preseason.
That's amazing. Bradford is in. DeMarco Murray with a 1st and 10 pitch, and he takes it on the wing, and he's brought down by Daniels after a gain of 7 into Green Bay territory at the 48.
Well, look at the production from Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb. It's amazing to think that they'll be without Jordy Nelson, and they have to accelerate the learning curve from some of these young players.
Bradford 2nd and 3 on the sideline. He's got his receiver, Jordan Matthews. 1st down, deep in Green Bay territory. Dix was in the vicinity, all the way to the Green Bay 21, and a 1st down, Philadelphia.
And Sam Bradford, Kevin, you give him time to set his feet, he can be deadly accurate. Not the most mobile quarterback. You always worry about the health, but when the protection's good, he can pick you apart.
1st down and 10. DeMarco Murray hit by Dix. Wraps him up near the 15-yard line. That's a gain of 6 on the play. Murray has run well. Dix has had 3 tackles already. And once again, the Eagles deep in Packer territory.
I really like these 2 safeties. You see how Clinton Dix comes screaming down as he sees running. They're both thumpers. They're physical. They'll hit you. Burnett led the team last year with 125 tackles. HaHa was second with 95.
Sam Bradford, Matthews, and tackled from behind by Hyde on that 2nd down and 4. The crossing pattern takes him to the 9. Gain of 7, 1st and goal, Eagle.
It's really amazing, Kevin, as we call this game. I mean, you don't get a chance to catch your breath. The offensive line, they do a great job hustling to the football. It's like a constant 2-minute mode when you study this Philly offense.
Goal-to-go situation. This is DeMarco Murray, and jumping on his back is Mike Neal with no gain on the play, and they remain at the 8-yard line.
And they're not the most complicated on offense. They have a handful of runs, a handful of concepts in the passing game, but they do a great job window dressing, disguising based on personnel groupings and formations and adjustments. But man, they hit you fast and furious with a lot of plays in a short period of time.
Packers in the nickel, first team defense out there. Philadelphia's 2nd down and goal at the 8. Bradford and caught and close, and Miles Austin takes it just outside the goal line, inside the 1, gain of 7.
Let them jump the ball again. Miles Austin, a former Cowboy. DeMarco Murray. The Philadelphia Eagle offense looks a lot different than a season ago.
Ryan Matthews is in, 3rd and goal at the 1. Sam Bradford, good hit by Clinton Dix, and then finished off by Barrington for a loss of 1. Clinton Dix is setting the personal high for tackles in a quarter. He's got up to be at least 4 or 5 in this first quarter already.
Well, this is terrific anticipation by HaHa Clinton Dix. He's going to hit it from depth. And you see the pressure right up the middle. They weren't fooled at all. HaHa Clinton Dix penetration. He is in the backfield before Matthews has a chance to seat the ball.
Matthews is in, couple tight ends. Bradford has his receiver in motion. The blitz, the throw, the touchdown. That is caught by tight end Trey Burton. 3-yard touchdown pass. And the 2nd touchdown pass tonight by Bradford and 12-zip Eagles.
Well, they get you working one way with the motion, and then Burton just slips underneath. And HaHa Clinton Dix, he has a man-to-man, but he gets picked with the crossing route. You see Bradford, he takes the hit from Micah Hyde.
They're going for 2, and here's Tim Tebow. Tried this before, failed. Tebow took it on a quarterback draw to the 1. The 2-point try with the low snap and the blitz, and a quick hit, and bobbled and dropped incomplete with the coverage on the play, and the drop by Casey Hayward. Another good-looking drive by the Eagles. 8 plays, 55 yards. Bradford with his 2nd touchdown pass, this time to the tight end Burton. Bradford is hit his running back and a young tight end for 2 touchdown passes to start things in the first quarter at Lambeau Field.
Perfect 7 for 7 for 64 yards. He's looked sharp, Kevin. The ball's coming out quick. Good anticipation on his throws. He looks very comfortable working from the pocket.
Would you like to have played in a kind of offense like this, Richard?
I think it's awesome. I mean, it's like a prize fight. The more punches, Kevin, you can get in 10 rounds. And the Eagles get their share. They've averaged well over 80, 85 snaps a game in Chip Kelly's first couple seasons.
Rookie Kip Smith will send this deep. It's Montgomery 8 yards deep, and he'll bring it out to the Packers. Looking for a spark. Looks like that ball may have been jarred loose, and he gets out to the 15-yard line. 23-yard return. Took it 8 yards deep in the end zone. Let's watch here at the very end. I think that baby may have been jarred free.
It comes out before he hits the ground. Fortunate that he fell on it. And the learning curve we talked about without Jordy Nelson, now Randall Cobb out of the game. Davante Adams, Jeff Janis, Ty Montgomery. These guys are going to have to grow up in a hurry and get better at their craft.
We're endeavoring to find out what happened to Cobb. He walked off after it looked like a stinger. He's in the locker room right now. When we get word, you'll get word. His 1st and 10 from the 15. Starks is in. We have a couple of tight ends. James Starks plugged up. Barwin, you can see the avalanche of Eagle defenders allowing just a gain of a yard to the 16.
And Kevin, we talked about this offensive line and the fact that they played really well together. And the big reason why was they were healthy for the most part. This offensive line tonight, 3 new starters in there. Barkley playing really out of position at the left tackle. You've got Lane Taylor at left guard and Josh Walker, who can play tackle, playing right guard. Communications affected, timing and rhythm in the running game, the passing game. I'm very curious to see how this group performs tonight.
Rookie Hundley with a 2nd down and 9. Good play fake for his tight end, but he's covered. Here's what Hundley can do well. 5th-round pick out of UCLA. And scampers to the side. His very first snap at UCLA as a young player. Took all the way to the house for a long touchdown run for the Bruins. That's a gain of 4 right there. Moments ago, Randall Cobb.
It looked like a routine catch on the sidelines. He got up early. You could tell he was kind of grabbing his shoulder, his arm. Just kind of came down funny. Eric Rowe, the cornerback of the Eagles, kind of landed on him, and he's off to the locker room most likely for x-rays.
I don't know if Packer fans can take the sight of another wide receiver walking helmetless to the locker room. 3rd down and 5. 5 in the Philadelphia secondary.
Pressure.
Sure is, right by Belaga, picked up, and there he goes, Walter Thurman to the house.
Well, Walter Thurman sat over that one. He was covering Richard Rodgers on a little hook route. Forced one down the middle of the field. Talked about a revamped secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin. This is a secondary that gave up a lot of big plays a season ago.
Well, we tried a couple of 2-pointers. Each have been no good. They're going to now go for just the extra point. The new distance now from the 23, and a 33-yard try.
Ooh, missed it.
Kip Smith misses, and that's why they've instituted this, because now it brings strategy far more into the equation.
Kickers have been pretty good through the preseason, about 94%, down from about 99% a season ago.
That is Thurman. That is the end zone, and that is a Philadelphia defensive touchdown. Mike McCarthy is looking across that field. On the other side, he sees Philadelphia, a defense and special teams unit which had 11 non-offensive touchdowns a season ago, far and away the best in the NFL.
Yeah, they're really good. And again, Kevin, this is a well-coached team by Chip Kelly. 2 biggest reasons Philly failed to make the playoffs last season were the turnovers by the offense and big pass plays by the defense.
This is Stanford rookie Montgomery. There goes a flag. And he goes down. 33-yard return. Jordan Hicks for the Eagles makes the stop.
During the return, holding, number 28, return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
On Sean Richardson. So special team problem again with the penalty there.
Let's go back and look at the interception. And Richard Rodgers matched up on Walter Thurman. It's right here. And what happens is at the top of the route, Rodgers is going to slip. He's going to slip coming out of the break. And when he does, Thurman is right there for the easy pick 6.
Packers again who open in 2 tight ends. Keep the 2 tight ends. Miles White will be 1 receiver. Montgomery the other. Lacey is in. Hundley in the gun. It is 1st and 10 from the 8. Brett Hundley. Nice catch. Montgomery galloping his way. Chased from behind and brought down. The touchdown saving tackle by Nolan Carroll. The catch and run good for 52 to the 40-yard line of Philadelphia.
2 rookies going to work, and this is really where Hundley's the best, Kevin. He took virtually every snap from shotgun at UCLA. Really nice throw here, and you see the speed from Montgomery.
One Pac-12 guy to another. UCLA to Stanford. Hundley to Montgomery. Tight ends remain. Here comes Lacey on first down and 10. Taylor Hart out of Oregon makes the stop as he goes to the 39-yard line and a gain of 1 for the Packers.
We're not getting the push up front, making it very difficult for Eddie Lacy to find a crease. Talked about the kind of preseason that Lacy's had so far, Kevin. He looks terrific. He looks leaner. He looks more explosive. And I think he's gotten a lot more comfortable, obviously, in the passing game.
Only as we talked about was taken in the 5th round. He really kind of thought he might be taken in the 1st or 2nd. Was disappointed as he fell. 2nd down and 9. Up the middle they come. Corliss with the diving catch. Tapped on the shoulder by Byron Maxwell, the former Seahawk. On 2nd and 9, he picks up 6 with the diving grab to the Eagle 33.
And this is where Hundley can really hurt you when he gets outside the pocket. Very athletic, can extend plays with his legs and throws the ball down the field very easily on the move.
He's clearly the 4th quarterback in camp, and now he has passed Blanchard and become almost a very solid 3rd. 3rd and 3 here. Lacy remains. Corliss is wide. Lacy gets the handoff and wrapped up by Fletcher Cox. No gain on the play. Cox read it well. They are stymied at the 33 of the Eagles. 4th down.
Boy, I hate to come up short there. They'll try the field goal, but my goodness, with Eddie Lacy, they're getting way too much penetration. Not a lot of lanes for the big-time running back.
You lose your guards.
Oh.
That just, I mean, and these are 2 of the highest rated guards in all of pro football.
Pro Bowl
Lang and
caliber guards.
Yeah.
Guys that get great push off the line of scrimmage in the running game.
Here's Crosby's at a terrific camp 51-yard field goal try. It is off the upright. No good.
That kick had some movement to it, didn't
It did,
it?
yeah. There's a little bit of a breeze now that is kicked up in Lambeau. Still nothing on Cobb, and we are still pursuing. He has left the field looking like a stinger. Missed scoring opportunity for the Packers, who trail the Eagles late in the 1st at Lambeau on the Packers television network. You were saying to me during the break, I need to see more out of that Packer defense.
Yeah, they look a step behind, Kevin, and they have to make some adjustments. I think you find out about your conditioning in a hurry in a game like this against the Philadelphia offense that's so up-tempo, and you see Dom Capers there, the defensive coordinator. Not the kind of start he was hoping for from his start in defense.
Dom was on the left in the white long-sleeve shirt. Here comes Bradford, another possession from his own 41. 1st and 10. Well, that's caught by Sproles. They beat Barrington. Room to roam. And Sproles, as slippery as they come, is chased down from behind by Barrington. A 33-yard catch and run with a Philadelphia 1st down to the Green Bay 26.
And Kevin, this game's all about matchups, and the Eagles found one that they really like. They're running back Darren Sproles on the linebacker Sam Barrington.
1st and 10. Now he's going deep, a wobbler, but caught and grabbed by Jordan Matthews out of Vanderbilt. One of the top receivers out of the SEC. He's down to the 9, 17-yard pickup. 1st and goal, Philadelphia.
It's so difficult to pressure Bradford, Kevin. So many plays look the same but are different. A lot of them come off a play action, and he's getting the ball out so quick, it makes it tough.
Packers are staying in the nickel most of the time, but they can make no substitutions.
Yeah, yet the Eagles are making substitutions. The Eagles are running fresh receivers and the backs on the field.
Bradford 9-9 handoff. Murray stopping and running, as you see, with the stiff arm into Hyde, who stuck with it on that 1st and goal. On a gain of 2, he is, let's see, where they're going to mark him. About the 7-yard line.
You can see players coming on and off the field from the Philadelphia Eagles. Meanwhile, the Packers not able to substitute. They make these changes, and the players that come on the field already have an indicator in terms of what the play is.
2nd and goal at the 7. Bradford. Touchdown. And for a 2nd time, he goes to a tight end. This time, Brent Selleck grabs it. A 7-yard touchdown pass. And Philadelphia is up 24-0 as Bradford has thrown 3 touchdown passes early.
This is amazing. I mean, Brent Selleck just comes screaming right down the middle of the field. Bradford making it look too easy against this Packers secondary.
Tight ends involved. 2 to tight ends. 1 to Sproles, his terrific running back. Spreading it out, everybody touching the ball. Kip Smith with the 1-point extra point. There it goes through, and finally they get to convert after a score with 2:11 to play in the first.
Let's go back and take a look. Brent Selleck, he's just working right down the middle of the field. And it looks like the Packers just blow a coverage against the Eagles. And again, you see Sam Barrington there, Kevin. He is getting worked over in the passing game.
You know he brings a degree of toughness to the run game, but this is on tape, and teams that the Packers will face will obviously be watching.
Again, it's all about matchups. You're looking for a way to get your tight end or your running back, a guy like Sproles. I don't know who can cover Darren Sproles out of the backfield. He's a mismatch for linebackers. He's a mismatch for safety types. He's so quick, and he's so explosive. And they do a good job getting him the ball in space.
4-play, 59-yard drive. Bradford has been razor sharp. Their offense looks like it's ready to go. Bradford 10 of 10, 121 yards through the air with 3 touchdown passes. The Smith and Sweet kickoff. And here comes Ty Montgomery. Room outside. And he gets a return of 30 yards to the sideline, and Rod Burks.
Well, guys, we have some more injury news on the Packers sideline. Randall Cobb has a shoulder injury. Don't know of his status, if he's going to come back into the game. Kevin Rich, back
We don't know. Thank you, Ron. We don't know if that's a separation. We don't know if it's a stinger, but a strain. It could, AC joint could be a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm sure they've got him in there real quick. Kevin got an X-ray and evaluating him as we speak.
Here come the Packers again from their own 26. Starks is the back, tight end. Corliss in the backfield. Huntley is under center. First and 10, Starks. Grabbed on the play. And up the bat by Cedric Thornton. It is a gain of 1. He's up to about the 26.5, 27.
And Kevin, you've got a veteran secondary for the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to sit on routes. They're going to challenge Brett Hundley, this rookie quarterback, to fit the ball into tight windows. They're going to play a lot of man-to-man coverage. They're going to jump these receivers. They're without Cobb. They're without Nelson. It's going to be very difficult for Hundley.
Second down, long 9. Belaga is out at the right tackle. That's where they come. The pressure is there. Flag has been thrown. Corliss, who twirls with the catch at about the 41. He's got the first down. 15-yard pickup, but let's see what the flag is about.
Number 67 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
To Olivia Harlan on the sideline.
Well, like Rod said, we do know Randall Cobb is out right now with a shoulder injury. Remember, he matched Jordy Nelson last season, catch for catch, almost, touchdown for touchdown, almost. And now we look at the 3 receivers looking for that number 3 spot. That's Ty Montgomery, the rookie, already with a good start tonight. Miles White, Jeff Janis. The 3 of them together only amount to 10 regular season games. So not a lot of experience there, but a good example of Packers executing their draft and develop strategy. Back up to the booth.
Good stuff. Cobb and Jordy Nelson, both Pro Bowlers a year ago, is on the Packers. Second down and 20. The screen pass. Winsley with the block, and this is Starks. Janis there, wide receiver with the block, and a catch and run and a first down play for Green Bay. Up to the 41-yard line, catch and run at 25, a Packer first down.
Well, really nice execution here on the screen pass. Starks is going to come across the formation, and you see Lindsley out in front, the rest of the line, and Starks very patient and a very good runner in the open field.
Josh Walker is playing the right tackle. Treader's playing the right guard. Starks remains first and 10. Barkley the block. Up moves Hundley. And he's off to the races. Chased by Barwin and finds refuge on that sideline of Philadelphia across the way to the 47. And he picks up 6 on the move.
Oh, nice job by the rookie quarterback. It's not there. He makes the most of it. And this is what he can do. He can make plays with his legs. He's a good scrambler. Very athletic. Put up a lot of big numbers in the Pac-12 at UCLA.
3 touchdown passes by Sam Bradford. A pick 6 by the Eagles. 25-0 Philadelphia at the end of 1. Welcome back to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. The second quarter is sponsored by Menards. Save big money at Menards. Kevin Harlan, Rich Gannon, Rod Burks, Olivia Harlan, and our entire Packers TV network crew. The wide receivers have certainly been the focus.
Well, we got a lot of them, Kevin, that are out already. I mean, you look at this group, and it's a lot of young players that haven't played a lot of football. Davante Adams, of course, the rookie last year. He came on in the second half of the season. Ty Montgomery, the return specialist, he's getting more work. Jeff Janis. These young players have to grow up in a hurry in this Packers offense.
Rosters to go down to 75 Tuesday at 3 o'clock Central. And a week from today, rosters must be at 53. Practice squad put together the next day. We start the second quarter, second down and 4. Brett Hundley with starts in the backfield in 3, as you can see wide, including Janis and Montgomery and Miles White.
Got him!
Hundley. Oh, he's got Janis! What a throw and what a catch inside the 25-yard line of Philadelphia. A flag is back at the 36. Good wipe out a 28-yard.
Number 55
It's
defense
on
for
the
contacting
Eagles.
the quarterback's helmet.
On
15 yards.
Brandon Graham.
Play, automatic first down.
28-yard completion to Janis.
Really impressive throw here by Hundley. The Eagles bring a 6-man pressure. He sits in there and makes a terrific throw down the field in between the corner and the safety. Good touch on that throw to Janis.
Hundley has gone 4 of 4. As you take a look at Jeff Janis and some of his numbers, big at 6'3", fast at 4'3". Since he threw the pick 6, Hundley has gone 4 of 4.
He's looked sharp, Kevin, and again, it's been against some pressure. Eagles have not eased off on the young quarterback.
Number 13, first and 10, Starks. Good block by Treader. With a tackle made by the very good D'Amico Ryans in the linebacking core. With a gain of 6, he's down to the 7 of the Eagles.
Really nice action there by Hundley. Freezes the linebackers just enough to sneak Starks up the middle.
I like that. Sneak Snarks.
Sneak Snarks up the middle. Be a new play we add. Hundley's looked poised though, Kevin.
Yeah,
I will say that through the first 15 minutes or so.
Second down and 4. Rodgers is the tight end. Hundley. Oops. It was deflected, a flag, and picked off on the carom by Byron Maxwell. A lot of moving parts on that play. Deflected at the line. The ricochet falling into the gloved hands of Maxwell. Let's see what the play is in the penalty. It's going to be on the Eagles.
Pass, holding. Number 27 defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, they got a break there. Batted ball's never a good thing for a quarterback, and Hundley's got to be careful, Kevin. He's working to his left, and then he comes back to his right late, and Connor Barwin gets a hand on it.
Malcolm Jenkins picked up the flag. He needs a vet. Corliss in the slot. White wide to the bottom of his screen. First to go at the 4. The shifty Starks. Loss of 3. Get on the play by a couple, including the linebacker Brandon Graham and Connor Barwin.
Well, somebody's going to have to win against man-to-man coverage. The Eagles defense playing a ton of man-to-man coverage against the wide receivers and tight ends.
Janis just checks in. Well, he makes big plays. Richie did it last year in camp. He's done it this year in camp.
Yeah, and they need a big body like Janis down here in the red zone. A guy that can go up and get it.
Second and goal at the 7. The knock on Janis has been his attention to detail at the position. Hundley. They get around Barkley. Oh, Rodgers. There's a flag, and it goes on the Eagles. Rodgers has terrific hands at the tight end position. Packers are going to move closer. Another penalty against Philadelphia.
The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
Third penalty on the drive on Philly.
Boy, I really like the fact that Hundley's given his tight end a chance to make a play down in the red zone. That's your job as a quarterback. Give Richard Rodgers a chance to make a play on the linebacker.
First and goal. Starks. Touchdown. 1 yard touchdown run. Starks, who had a catch and run on this drive of 25 yards. Good looking pass of 28 to Janis. 3 Eagle penalties, and Starks from a yard away. And the Packers are on the board.
Much better job by the right side of that Packers offensive line. Good push by Josh Walker and Brian Bulaga, along with Corey Lindsley.
Pre-game guys, Lance and Rod and Olivia talked about the play of Walker and how Josh Walker, there he is, has taken this camp and made something of it.
And Kevin, I think he gives them versatility. He's a big man. He's a big body that can play inside and is athletic enough to play outside on the edge at tackle.
Rogers going to try for one here. Now the wind has died. Promising play of Huntley on that drive, coming back after the pick six. Look sharp, look confident. Got some big plays, including from some young receivers where they need it. 7 plays, 74 yards, finished off by Starks, who punctures the goal line.
This Packers preseason game is sponsored by Mills Fleet Farm, Ticketmaster, Toyota, UW Health, the Wisconsin Lottery, and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Packers on the board, but more injury news. We'll update after this kickoff by Green Bay. 7 plays, 74-yard drive. With a 1-yard touchdown plunge by Starks early in the second quarter. Here's the kickoff out of the end zone. Touchback to the 20. Olivia is on the sideline.
Well, Brian Bulaga is sitting on the bench now with some ice on his ankle. The Packers have confirmed he does have an ankle injury. We're not confirming which ankle yet. He is limping on the sideline, walking around. His return is unknown. We'll let you know.
There we got our first shot of it right there. It's on his left. Thank you. And so now it's the Eagles with the 1st and 10 from the 20.
Yeah, that offensive line played so well last season. Kevin, a big reason why they stayed healthy. Only Bulaga missed a start. And right now, they are banged up front without their left tackle, left guard, and now right tackle.
Just got a look at Mark Sanchez, the new quarterback for the Eagles, and he gives off to Ryan Matthews on 1st and 10. In the secondary, hit by Morgan Burnett with a gain of 5, and he wheels his way to the 25.
Sanchez got plenty of play time last year when Foles went down with the shoulder injury. And Kevin, at times he looked sharp, but other times he had some struggles taking care of the football.
2nd down and 5, you're right. That's been the bugaboo. That's been the problem here. He hits on a nice crossing pattern. His receiver, and that's Jeff Mayle, who picks up 15 on the cross. He's up to the 40 and a 1st down. And the pace continues very strong for Philly. Outside it goes. Aguilar picks up this one, a pass outside for the rookie. Aguilar with a 7-yard catch, tackle on the play made by Burnett. Aguilar is out of USC.
As you look at Sanchez, the offense, the Eagles offense, a league worst 36 giveaways. 21 of those giveaways were interceptions by their quarterbacks.
Nice catch right there on 2nd and 3. Aguilar right in front of Hayward picks up 3 and looks like he's got the 1st down in midfield.
And Sanchez threw 11 last year, Kevin. Foles had 10 interceptions. A big reason why they went out and got Sam Bradford. Chip Kelly's looking for someone who can take better care of the football. Look at that, 80 interceptions compared to 82 touchdowns. Not good enough for Sanchez.
Sanchez 1st and 10. Here they go, and down he goes. Andy Mulumba with a flag thrown at about the 42.
Foul. Face mask.
Oh, jeez.
Number 55 defense.
That's part of it.
15-yard penalty automatic.
Mulumba will pick it up. And the Packers will go backwards with the penalty on their backer.
Mulumba's made some terrific plays off the edge. He's going to get just a piece of Sanchez. Sanchez, right at the last second, he lowers his head, and then Mulumba's right there to grab part of the face mask.
Good shot by our crew. Clearly shown.
Big penalty.
Yeah. We missed last year with an injury. Here's a 1st and 10. Ryan Matthews poppers ahead, cuts inside, met by Burnett, and brought down close to a 10-yard pickup to the 25 of Green Bay.
Well, Ryan Matthews had kind of an up-and-down career in San Diego. When he was healthy, he was terrific, but too often, Kevin, he was nicked up. Just a lot of play time over the last 2 seasons in San Diego.
Second one, Sanchez going deep. Aguilar, and incomplete. Nice play by Casey Hayward. He was with the rookie stride for stride. Incomplete pass. We know Tramon Williams has left as a free agent to Cleveland, and Hayward taking his place at the number 2 corner.
Really nice job by Hayward, just tracking the ball and getting a hand on it right at the end there, knocking it away from the rookie Aguilar.
That's the first incompletion by an Eagle quarterback tonight. They were 13 of 13, the combined passing of Bradford and Sanchez. 3rd and 1. Matthews. Burnett with a great defensive play for Green Bay. And another flag. Loss of 4.
They're going to call another face mask?
I think they may.
Talk about these safeties. I like both of them, Kevin. Clinton Dix and Morgan Burnett, because they're physical and they like playing down around the line of scrimmage. Looks like it might go towards Philly, go against Philly.
That ball comes out so quick, doesn't it, Rich, in this offense?
Oh, they got it over
It's
Philly.
against the Eagles. Mike was blowing a gasket before. Now he likes that call, and I don't blame him.
You're going to see Morgan Burnett does a nice job filling, containing, forcing this run back up inside. Yeah, the back. Actually, Ryan Matthews gets part of Morgan Burnett's. Right there, you can see it. He's got his face mask, and he's grabbing. Works both ways. Oh, that's a big penalty. Essentially pushes him back out of field goal range right now. Looking at almost a 58-yarder.
Six defensive backs for Green Bay. Randall covering in the bottom of your screen, 23. It's 3rd and 15. They need the Packer 25. Mark Sanchez. Knocked away with great pressure on the play. And I think it was Hubbard who came through and pressured Sanchez on the 3rd and 15, and the former player at Alabama with the significant pressure. It's 4th down, and they're going to punt.
Really nice job by the linebackers in the secondary. Really nowhere to go with the football for Sam Bradford or for Mark Sanchez.
Here's the punt by Donnie Jones. Some good English on it. And Montgomery watches it. Oh, there's a flag thrown at the 2. The ball bounds into the end zone. A touchback as of now. Flag has been thrown. Boy, these special teams are driving Mike crazy. I gave a play calling this year.
You
so
spent
that
a lot more time.
A lot of time.
Kevin, in that special teams meeting room.
And, you know, Rich, a lot of veterans and a lot of starters are going to play special teams for the Packers this year because they've been ranked so low here recently.
Yeah, they were embarrassed by what happened a year ago, and statistically they were the worst in football. And they have spent a ton of time stressing the fundamentals of playing special teams.
5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
It's really the youngest they've been on special teams in a while, really since Mike's been the head coach in Green Bay. There'll be a lot of new starters playing in the kicking game.
This is a point of emphasis. Has been the entire camp. Will be all season long. Donnie Jones once again on a winless night. Another flag. Good English on this one. Flying at about the 5.
That was a big penalty.
That's against the Packers.
Half the distance to the goal. 1st down. Timeout.
Well, the previous penalty cost them 15 yards. When they had the ball at the 20, now they got to start at the 5. They got another penalty. Back-to-back penalties from the special teams units.
Packers will have the ball. The injuries have been a story here over the last couple weeks, and it began last week in Pittsburgh on a Sunday afternoon with Jordy Nelson.
Yeah, really unfortunate, Kevin. We were there for it. It just looked like he kind of turned his ankles. It turns out he has an ACL injury, and he'll be lost for the season. It's a devastating blow for a guy that was so productive a season ago. And then today, or this evening, Randall Cobb, he goes down in the first quarter with what looked like a routine catch on the boundary. But he lands funny. Eric Rowe, the corner for Philadelphia, lands on that shoulder. He leaves the game with a shoulder injury.
And Bulaga with the ankle and the ice on it. And the Packers without 3 starters on the offensive line. Bakhtiari has missed a bunch of practice. He had a knee injury before game 1 in New England against the Patriots. The 2 guards are gone, Sitton and Lang, with a concussion and an ankle. So you're talking about, you know, this offensive line, which returns intact, and now you're missing some pretty important parts.
One of the few offenses in football that returned all 11 starters a season ago, and everything was looking so promising for this group. And now you see
he's putting the guy.
Yeah, you know, you see he just got done icing up it there a little bit, Brian Bulaga. But you know, look, you've got 5 guys out right now. Jordy Nelson out for the season. Certainly keeping their fingers crossed with Randall Cobb, but 3 offensive linemen out, and now Brian Bulaga probably won't return with what is being called a left ankle injury.
Barkley left tackle, Lane Taylor left guard, Treader will be playing the center. Walker is playing the right guard. Rodgers is in there. Hunley with a 1st and 10. Low, incomplete, and looking for White. Fans, be sure to tune into the Packers Radio Network during the regular season for the Menards Big Play Contest. You could win a $500 Menards gift card if the Packers score a touchdown from 25 yards or more on a single play during the second quarter. For details, visit any Wisconsin Menards store. 2nd down and 10. Gerhardt now playing the right guard. Walker playing the right tackle. John Neal. Wheeling outside and shoved out of bounds. Gets the game to about the 8. Gain of 6 for Neal, in camp for a 2nd consecutive year.
Well, the Packers haven't had a lot of success in terms of field position. Their average starting field position, their own 14. You compare that with Philadelphia, Kevin, tonight. They've started at their own 42. It's a difference of almost 30 yards of field position per starting drive.
Nickel secondary for the Eagles. 3rd and 5 for Green Bay. A rookie quarterback from UCLA, Brett Huntley. Barkley held his guy. Walker holding his. Nice catch by White. That was a beauty. Right in front of Byron Maxwell on the far side. He picks up 15 yards and a Green Bay 1st down and some much needed breathing space.
Kevin, he's made some big-time throws on the move when things begin to break down around him. And I like the fact that he's keeping his eyes down the field. He's staying in rhythm. He's able to get outside and still keep his eyes down the field and make a terrific throw over Connor Barwin, the outside linebacker of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Rutkowski, the fullback, and Neal running back of him, and a good run it is. Picking up 4. Right over the guard. Vinny Curry makes the stop for the Eagles. When you say a quarterback keeping his eyes downfield, oh, that is Hyde. He is leaving. I'm running out of space on my medical chart here. Yeah.
Well, a lot of young quarterbacks, when they get pressured, they have a tendency to drop their eyes versus blitz. And I've been watching very closely Brett Hundley tonight. He's done a nice job. Eagles have brought a lot of internal pressure. He's done a nice job keeping his eyes down the field.
Hundley was hit. Ball was dragged free. I don't know if his arm was moving. Cedric Thornton knocked the ball away from the cocked leg throwing arm of Hundley. Walker over there. He's not gotten a signal if it's a It had to be an yeah, his arm was, I don't know.
Like the arm was coming forward. Thornton got a.
It was a fumble. They're calling it the loss of 3 yards on the play.
Got a hustle here now inside 10 seconds. Gonna have to use a timeout. You see McCarthy walking down.
3rd down and 9. Timeout, Hundley.
Got to look at that play clock. Took a while to get that play called in the huddle.
They'll step aside and 7:20 to play in the first half with the Eagles on top on 3 touchdown passes and a pick 6. Waiting for word on the Hyde injury. The running attack has been injured tonight too for Green Bay.
Yeah, really. We talked about the changes up front along the offensive line, but when you start a rookie quarterback, you've got to be able to run the football effectively. The Packers haven't been able to do that in the first half. Just 24 yards rushing. Lacy 4 carries for 2 yards. Starks 5 rushes for just 3 yards.
Packers 0-3 on 3rd down tonight. Here's a 3rd and 9. They need the 33. Hundley. Flag. Pressured on the play and running for his life with Jordan Hicks, the rookie out of Texas, bearing down on him. And he was running out of room. Flag is back at it's on the Packers.
10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Back at the 14.
Sloppy.
Penalties declined. 4th down.
Klein, Packers will punt. Rich, normally this is a game that is the dress rehearsal. This is your tune-up, and then from halftime on of this game through the next, a lot of young players trying to make the roster. But with so many injuries, the Packers are not in that frame of mind, it seems.
No, they're really not. I think they're more cautious because of the injuries to the offensive line. And certainly don't want to expose Aaron Rodgers to any unnecessary hits.
Maste, the punt, with the ball retrieved by the Eagles. Kenyon Barner, 36-yard punt, 4-5 on the hang. Flag is down. We keep mentioning the hang time because that has been a problem for Maste in the preseason.
Well, he's really struggled with his directional kicking, especially to his right. It's been a problem.
You said that last week, too.
Illegal formation, kicking team, not enough players on the line of scrimmage. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down, Philadelphia.
The white beard of Mike McCarthy is going to get whiter.
He's going to blow a fuse. The replay Sean Slocum. You got a good look at Ron Zook right there, the special teams coordinator in the gray top. And Mike has been spending a lot more time with the special teams units, but these penalties are going to drive him crazy.
4 penalties in the Packers special teams tonight. It is a 1st and 10. With the quarterback, Mark Sanchez. Fake to Ryan Matthews. Down the seam, and he was aiming that time for receiver Jeff Mayle. Mayle, you may recall, had a 15-yard reception the last time they had the ball. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Well, they don't huddle. I mean, just look at the Eagles' offensive line. They just stand around the football. They get the plays in quickly from the sidelines. Sanchez makes the calls, and it's a fast break offense.
Darius Randall, the number 1 pick down below. 2nd down and 10 outside to Matthews. Barrington. And finally the tackle made by Clinton Dix. About his 5th or 6th tackle solo tonight. That's an 8-yard pickup. They're into Packer territory at about the 47.
Not a lot of safeties that can play at all 3 levels of the defense. And Clinton Dix is one of them. He's comfortable down around the line of scrimmage. He's a good blitzer. Can play on the 2nd level. And he's very good range in the middle of the field.
Packers were in the nickel on that 3rd down and 2 and a pickup of 4, and that's a 1st down as Ryan Matthews has had his share of injuries, and he's had 1,000 yards in his career, but the Eagles have him, and you can see the role he's going to play in this offense.
Well, you get 3 for 1. You get Ryan Matthews, DeMarco Murray, and of course Darren Sproles, and you'll lose LaShawn McCoy.
Sanchez 1st and 10 with time underneath. He goes to his tight end who's caught a touchdown pass tonight, Trey Burton out of Florida. Burton grabbed one on a 3-yard grab. Out of bounds on the play across the way and a 6-yard pickup, and the ball is to the Green Bay 38.
And really where it hurts you, Kevin, is with your defensive line. It's tough to make substitutions. Now you have these big guys in there and they can't come off the field in 3rd down.
2nd down and 4. Running back now, Kenyon Barner. And he gets the call. Nice tackle right there. Barrington, gain of 2. That's the limit on that run to the 35 of Green Bay.
This is where the Packers have to get better inside that inside linebacker position. They no longer have A.J. Hawk. He was being phased out a year ago, but Barrington's a young player that they like.
Flag on 3rd and 2. Drop pass. Burton coverage on the play. Morgan Burnett. So the Packers looking for some
Offside. Number 90 defense. 5-yard penalty. That yardage results in a first down.
B.J. Raji tore the biceps last year, missed the season. Back now lighter too. He's lost, he thinks, between 10 and 11, 12 pounds. And Raji now playing the nose tackle from the defensive end where he's been the last couple years.
Yep, just gets a little antsy inside. You're right, Kevin, that season-ending loss to B.J. Raji, that torn bicep, really put a strain on what was a remodeled defensive line a season ago, and it hurt their run defense.
And that's his natural position, that nose tackle, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a big man that can create some disruption in the middle. He gets good push on the pocket. He can take on double teams. You need a big season out of B.J. Raji.
First down and 10 for Sanchez. Matthews outside. Mayo trying to offer a block, and Barrington is there again. One of his teammates, when talking about linebacker Sam Barrington, said he brings a toughness to the defense we need. That is a gain of 5 right there to the Packer 25.
Yeah, he makes a lot of plays, and he's a guy that can run sideline to sideline. One area where we know he has to get better is in pass defense.
2nd and 5 for Mark Sanchez. Matthews, Barrington again. Glenn Dix. They've been all over the field making tackles. Gain of 2 right there. Down to the Packer 23. Hubbard comes in. Richardson comes in. Bruce Gaston coming in. The Packers getting some subs right here. 3rd down and 4 for Philly. Eagles have all 3 timeouts. Burton outside. Shields over there. And a pickup of 5 on 3rd and 4. They get the first. They're down to the Green Bay 19.
And it's really not overly complicated what the Eagles are doing offensively. They just spread you out. They play fast. They look for matchups. And the ball comes out quick.
Starting secondary out there for Green Bay. Hyde is in the locker room. Wide over the defense. Do it right over Thornton. They hit the running back. Barner out of Oregon. It's a pickup of 8. He played for, or at least he was recruited by Chip Kelly. They're down to about the Green Bay 10 and about a yard shy of a first.
And the one thing that they do a nice job of is they get the running backs the ball in space in the passing game. We saw Sproles. They do a good job in the screen game. They get those matchups on those linebackers.
2nd down and 1 for Mark Sanchez. Barner. He was stood up by Guyan, who found out he is going to be suspended for the first 3 games. Close to a first down. Barrington's probably just exhausted from all the tackling he's made, but he's a bit slow to get up and then bounces right there and comes to the sideline. Eagles did not make the playoffs a year ago, Rich, but boy, they were the talk of the league then, and it seems like more pundits are talking about them this year as well for just the style and, as we're seeing, the pace of this team.
Back-to-back 10-6 seasons for Chip Kelly in his first 2 years, Kevin, in Philadelphia. Well-coached team.
1st and goal at the 9. Sanchez. That's caught for a touchdown and grabbed on the play by Jeff Mayo out of Oregon. 9-yard touchdown throw by Sanchez. And the 4th touchdown pass thrown by the Eagles against the Green Bay D tonight.
Well, Mayo's going to work all the way across the formation. Sanchez looks to his right. Not there. He comes back to the crosser. Mayo. Do a good job attacking different levels of your defense.
They'll try the extra point right here. Kip Smith. Perfect. 32-7 Philadelphia. Sanchez, the touchdown pass. Frustration on the Packers sideline. 3:04 in the first half. 4 touchdown passes, a pick 6. Packers have scored on a 1-yard touchdown run by Starks. 3 offensive line starters for the Packers gone. Now a 4th and Bulaga. Cobb is in the locker room with a shoulder injury of indeterminate measure. We don't know how severe it is. You thought maybe a stinger, but you're not a doctor. I don't. Are you? I mean,
I play one on television.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, actually I do. You know, Kevin, just my observations as we look back over the first half, that the Eagles look so much quicker.
They do, Rich.
Faster than what we see from the Packers tonight, really on both sides of the ball.
Subsequent kickoff. Kuhn and Montgomery were back there, and away it goes, and out of bounds to the end zone to the 20.
And the speed of play obviously is a lot different when you don't have number 12 on the field. I get it. And a lot of the starters are out. I get it. But still, even defensively, you know, the Eagles have been up-tempo. They've been attacking. They've been getting to the edge of the defense. There's been some communication issues from the Packers defensively. Special teams, we've already seen a number of penalties. They've got plenty to clean up in the second half.
Barclay, Taylor, Treader, Gerhardt, Walker. Left tackle to right tackle. That's the way they set up here. First down and 10. Huntley remains the quarterback. Neal in the backfield out of Tennessee. They get around Walker. Screen pass to Neal. Taylor's ahead. Treader's ahead. A good catch and run. He was finally brought down by Najee Good. 18-yard catch and run. First down, Green Bay to the 38. Let's go to Olivia Harlan.
I'm joined by Clay Matthews in his first game of the preseason. Clay, the Eagles got up 25-0 pretty quick. What do you make of this first half defense?
I mean, we obviously have some things to shore up, but it's nothing to, fear. They did a great job with their scheme and capitalized on our mistakes, but, we need this, and this is what the preseason is for. Obviously, you'd like to come out here and, put up those type of numbers on our side of the ball, but it's good to see, if there's a silver lining on that, but we obviously have room for improvement. Past success isn't going to translate over to this year, so we got some work, but we're all right.
Now some of your teammates taken off the field tonight with injuries. How concerning is that with one game standing between you and the regular season?
You hope it's just them being precautionary as far as, those type of injuries. You hate to see your, primetime players go down, but hopefully it's nothing serious. We lost enough, key players on this team, so hopefully we'll be ready for week 1.
Clay, on a lighter note, your Xbox commercial this week painted you as kind of a class clown. Is that true at all? You at USC?
Actually, kind of painted me as a badass, though. So you must have misread that. But no, it was fun. It was fun to work with those other guys, and it's always fun, the brotherhood that we have in the NFL.
I don't know if you can say that on air, but we'll send it back to our booth just in case.
I don't know if you can either. Thank you very much. The Wisconsin Lottery presents the 2-minute warning. Packers scratch games are on sale now with a bonus drawing for a private suite for 2 games for $25. Learn more at WILottery.com. 2-minute warning in Green Bay on the Packers TV network. Packers have one timeout. We're at the 2-minute warning. There's a 1st and 10. The rookie quarterback, Brett Huntley. There's an athletic catch by Neal. Huntley was in camp last year, blew a knee in the first game in the rain in Nashville against Tennessee. He picks up 4 right there. He was on the practice squad, learned the offense from a ways away, and he comes for a second time in a training camp trying to notch his position on this roster. They are looking for a 4th running back. Will it be him? Will it be Alonzo Harris? 2nd down and 6. Almost picked off on the play by a diving Jalen Watkins. They were going for White. 3rd and 6, Rich.
Good opportunity for the young quarterback, Kevin, to orchestrate a 2-minute drill. Got to be able to feel that corner. He's got his eyes downfield. He never feels the 2-deep corner jump on the crossing route.
3rd down and 6. Numbers on Hundley. Good time. White. He's down near the 36-yard line. He picks up 12. Good throw by Hundley. Again, one timeout for Green Bay. White is in a nice night receiving.
He's made some nice catches, Kevin, in the middle of the field. Again, a great opportunity for this coaching staff to get a real good look at these young receivers against some of these starters for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Couple catches for White, 27 yards.
This is what Hundley needs. He needs to He can't get enough reps through the preseason.
Second down and 10.
Let's see how he's going to respond in certain situations.
All those young receivers in play out there. Dropped by Montgomery. A little bit in back of him. Coming up on the Toyota halftime report. Our Rod Burks had a chance to sit down earlier this week with Packer center Corey Linsley. Also check in with your local news and have stats and highlights from tonight's first half. All coming up on the Toyota halftime report.
Montgomery's got to make that catch, Kevin, but Hundley's got to throw a better ball. We'll make that correction in the meeting room tomorrow. You got to put it in front of him when he's running that inside breaking route.
Third down and 10. Nicely set up. Neal blockers ahead. Good block by Gerhardt. There he goes. Touchdown. 36-yard catch and run. Ray-Jean Neal. With a lead block by Gerhardt that opened the door, and the leap with Neal for the first time. Kid blew the knee. The Packers kept him around, settled. They let him go. They brought him back in November of last year, learned the offense, healed up. And now making a second stab at it. He looked good last year. He looks good this year.
Yeah, it really does. Showed some real acceleration there.
Ozzie trying for one. Next stay on the hold. Good with the long snap. 61 seconds to play in the first half. 32-14 the new score from Lambeau with the Eagles in control.
Keep an eye on Gerhardt right there. He gets out in front of the screen and does a really nice job downfield leading Neal.
When you have a big man like that gets out ahead of a play and steamrolls the defense, you get plays like this as a result. And even Montgomery was ahead too, holding his man on, at least impeding his progress.
And great confidence for the young quarterback. Talked about how important they're putting together a 2-minute drive before the half.
But what a thrill. Whether you're a veteran or a young kid like Neal, to make that leap in this building, that's something you don't forget.
No, you really don't. And look at Hundley's numbers, 10 of 17, 207 yards. He had the interception on when Rodgers fell down on top of that route, but Kevin, he's looked pretty steady. He's made some good throws on the move, which I think is impressive.
Kickoff to Mostert, who had a 67-yard kickoff return to begin the game. And here he goes again. There's a good-looking tackle. Out there they had Quentin Rollins, 21-yard return by Raheem Mostert out of Purdue. Rollins, along with Randall, Gunter, who we've not talked about tonight. These are the names that the Packers are going to use to fill the defection of House and Tramon Williams in the secondary. A flag was thrown on that play.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 38 of the return team, half the distance to the goal. First down.
It's on the former Redskin defensive back, E.J. Biggers. To the sideline and Olivia Harlan.
We saw Micah Hyde go into the locker room on a cart, and a team official just told me he is out with a neck injury. Pretty concerning report. We'll try to get more during the halftime. Back to you.
Thank you. And there we take a look at Hyde. So Hyde is gone. Iwanga was taken out. Cobb, we just have a very preliminary report with a shoulder injury. He left early in the game. We need now medical degrees with our guys and gals on the sideline. Here's a 1st and 10. They floated over. Nice catch and run here by Barner. Being chased on the play by Boyd. Good block on Hayward. Downfield he goes and caught up to by Morgan Burnett. That was a pretty play by the young player, Kenyon Barner.
It's amazing. You run a screen route, Kevin. It goes out the back door for 50 yards.
50-yard catch and run. First down. Sanchez. This is stopper Miles Austin. There's a familiar name from the past. It is reputation with the Cowboys, and a gain of 7 right there. He'll fit in this offense well. Veteran. 36 seconds remaining. Timeout taken. It's on Philadelphia. They now have 2 with a look at Clinton Dix tackling issues last year. Maybe even a little bit in this preseason. But tonight it looks like Richie's a little bit more sure-handed in those grabs and those stops.
Well, he's such a physical player, and I think he's a guy that wants to come down and strike you down around the line of scrimmage. As you're going to look at Chip Kelly, Kevin, he doesn't have a conservative bone in his body. He is always attacking.
That's right.
You know, a lot of teams up, you know, with a score of 32-14, with backed up in your own end zone. The conservative, not Chip Kelly.
Second down and 3. Sanchez looking for Mostert out of the backfield. Richardson was right there. 3rd and 3.
Just keeps taking chances. He keeps pushing the ball down the field.
Oregon coach, boy, and he has dismantled a team that people thought was full of weapons, bringing in new players, but players more to the style that he thinks he can work his offense with.
Yeah, think about it. And moved on from Foles and McCoy, Macklin, Evan Mathis on offense, defensively, Cole, Fletcher, Williams, Nate Allen, Brandon Boykin.
3rd and 3. Good pass. This is Mail. Look at him follow the blocking and deliver the Mail. Perry brings him down on the 3rd and 3. The catch and run to the 19-yard catch and run. Timeout Philly.
Well, Dom Capers and this Green Bay defensive staff, they've got plenty to clean up in terms of defending the screen game. They've been abused by the screen game, whether it's to the backs or in that last one to Mail the receivers. They're not doing a good job getting off of blocks downfield. First, it's recognizing the screen, and then it's getting off of blocks on the second level.
Some of this stuff.
Yeah, the backs, the matchup. It's been a game of matchups, and the Eagles have taken advantage of it.
Over 300 yards of offense in the first half by Philadelphia. 1st and 10. Sanchez Stein. Out he goes, incomplete. And Jan Barner stands tall in that pocket, Rich, and a lot of congestion around him. Richardson on the Packer coverage in the secondary.
Well, they've been sending the back down the field, that little wheel route down the sidelines, and they've been getting matchups on linebackers. We saw Sproles on Barrington in the first quarter, and now we see him going after Richardson.
No one is immune.
He's got to find a way to cover the back out of the backfield.
Philly with a couple timeouts, 2nd down and 10. Sanchez. Incomplete. Flag thrown. Going for Mail. With the coverage on the play by Tay Glover Wright. Or was that on
Casey Hayward?
Casey Hayward.
Yeah, he grabbed.
It's automatic. First down.
8 penalties on the Packers. And Hayward was caught right there. Let's watch it again.
They just worked him right up inside, and you're going to see Hayward. He just panics. He's got his eyes in the backfield, and once he crosses his face, you're going to see him grab the right shoulder of the receiver. Right there, just enough to affect the timing and the rhythm on the post route.
1st and goal for 2. Barnes and Mails in motion. Sanchez to the end zone, incomplete. Coverage was there. They're going for the rookie, Aguilar.
Smart play by Sanchez, throwing it away on 1st and goal. Well, if they score here, Kevin, I can't remember the last time the Packers given up almost 40 points at home in the first half. I realize it's a preseason game, but this is not something you want to put on tape. Still, a lot of the starters in there on defense for the Packers.
You mentioned this, the speed alone of Philadelphia has just been so impressive. Yeah. 2nd down, goal at the 2. Barner, fairly easy. Yep, knifes his way in. 2-yard touchdown run. And Jan Barner out of Oregon. And a flag has been thrown late across the way at the 7. It stands now a 2-yard touchdown run.
illegal formation offense. Only 6 players on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, second down.
So second and goal at the 7 with 8 seconds to play in the first half and a timeout remaining for each. Sanchez, touchdown! Once again, it's Burton, 7-yard touchdown pass. Trey Burton has just lassoed his second touchdown reception of the night. And those guys you saw there, all starters in the secondary.
Well, they're getting a bunch set. You get that natural pick.
Sanchez has come in with 2 touchdown passes, Rich, here late in the second quarter.
Both Eagle quarterbacks, Bradford and Sanchez, Kevin, have looked really, really sharp here in the first half.
We have a Kip Smith extra point. 38-14, 39-14 Philadelphia. Trey Burton was right there and makes the grab.
Well, you see that tight bunch. What happens is you lose the middleman, and that's Burton, the tight end, who works right up and runs that little outside hook just a yard inside the end zone.
So Eagle quarterbacks with 5 touchdown passes tonight of 8 yards, 3, 7, 9, and right there, 7 yards. Burnett and Clinton Dix, the starters in there on that drive, and concern on the face of Matt McCarthy with that, and probably the injuries we've seen to Hyde, Bulaga, and Cobb.
It's amazing how a couple injuries, Kevin, can really change the dynamics and the look and feel of your offense. As you see Aaron Rodgers over his right shoulder, he's not in uniform tonight. We talked about how different the tempo and the speed with Aaron Rodgers. It's very similar to what we see from Philly's offense. It's fast-paced, it's up-tempo, it's attacking. It's a lot slower now with the rookie quarterback in there trying to make the adjustments at the line of scrimmage.
Kip Smith and picked up by John Kuhn. And Garner had the touchdown run that was negated because of a penalty. There's a flag thrown at the end of that play.
That'll be a 15-yarder on the Eagles, and the Packers will get another shot here. They'll be able to take one shot towards the end zone here.
Clock has zeros.
I think we've got a horse collar. I'm going to say it's a horse collar tackle on Kuhn. He gets pulled down from behind.
Larry McCarron talked to him in our pregame show, and it was a terrific conversation.
Horse collar tackle. Number 34 defense. That penalty's declined. That's halftime.
Could have taken the penalty.
Got
another offensive snap.
I know you would have said, I want to throw one.
Why not?
Why not is right. We're at halftime. The Eagles on top with 5 touchdown passes over Green Bay on the Packers TV network. Wahlberg's moments ago with Packer head coach Mike McCarthy. You take a look at the sideline. Teams are out there. Eagles are going to kick off. A pick 6, 5 touchdown passes. Hundley had a touchdown pass to Neal, who's going to return this kickoff to begin the second half. Read the blocking well, and he's off to the races. Flag is thrown and chased on the play by Rice. 34-yard return by number 34.
Oh, a senseless penalty, Kevin. Away from the play. Wasn't even necessary. Neal was already around the corner. Somebody gets a hold away from the play. Man, mistakes in the kicking game have been costly for the Packers.
Number 32 of the return team.
Banjo.
10-yard penalty, first down.
5 Green Bay special teams penalties tonight. It was calmer than I thought on that interview.
No, I know. The field position, I mean, the Packers have been backed up inside the 20 just about every drive this game, making it difficult on the rookie quarterback. Having to go long distances. 10 of 17, 207 yards. Pretty good first half for Brett Hundley.
Unovich is the new left tackle. Hundley's under center. It is a 1st and 10. Rockets. They'll take it All down on the play by Brad Jones. That's a familiar name for the Packers. Gain of 2, and these are the injuries tonight.
Well, we knew Jordy coming in with the knee, but Randall Cobb leaves early, and of course, Sitting and laying out. Balaga, we saw him on the sidelines, Kevin, in the first half, icing the left ankle. Then Micah Hyde gets carted off with what has been reported as a neck injury. Hope he's okay, but man, it's been a rough couple weeks for the Packers. The training room will be busy tomorrow.
Barkley now playing the left guard. Treader is the center. Walker the right tackle. Hundley back. Walking ahead with Kowski and others, and that's caught. Montgomery. He's up to the 36, 35-yard line. A strike of 19 and a Green Bay first down.
Hundley's doing a nice job stepping up in the pocket. When the pressure gets around him on the outside, he takes that extra hitch. He sits in there, and he makes a great throw down the middle to Montgomery. Well, it's good to see the young players making some plays here in this one.
Montgomery 2 catches for 71 yards. Good numbers there on a first down. Breathing space for the Packers beginning the second half at Lambeau. First and 10 outside. Miles White, third reception tonight. Fighting for a spot on the roster. Down by Jenkins across the way. Gain of 3 by White. He's up to the 38. Gerhardt now has moved to that right guard. Second down and 7. That was an impressive play by Najee Good out of West Virginia. Loss of 5 in the play. Back to the 33.
Wow, it's amazing how quick he gets there. I mean, he's going to, at the intersection of the, he almost takes the ball out of the hands of Hundley. I mean, he just times it up perfect. I mean, the back's got no chance there. Penetration up inside. Great anticipation by the linebacker Good.
Third down and 12. Perillo is in motion. Rocket is in the backfield, and Hundley dropping back with time and going to the sideline, incomplete. He was zeroing in on Larry Pincard out of Old Dominion. Packers have got a punt on their first second half possession.
See you making the correction right there on the sidelines. They're the best kind of corrections, the ones that happen instantaneously as opposed to waiting until you watch the film tomorrow morning. Like saying that ball has to come out on time.
Mastay, Barner is deep back. That was just barely above 3 seconds on a hang time and not very far, 40 yards.
His gross average of 40.7 ranks 42nd among 45 punters with 3 or more attempts this preseason.
Flag is down at the 38. Busy night for Carl Cheffers and his crew.
This is going to be
an eligible player downfield of the kicking team, number 42. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play.
That's 6 special teams penalties tonight on Green Bay. It is 6 on special teams.
Sloppy.
They'll step aside in the third at Lambeau. Tim Mastay having a tough preseason so far. New quarterback is Matt Barkley out of USC. They go outside. Mostert brought down on the play by Andy Mulumba out of Eastern Michigan. Gain of 8 on the play. What do you think about Barkley?
Well, in a little bit of a battle between himself and Tebow for that third job. I think a lot of people in Philadelphia feel it's going to be Matt Barkley, the former SC quarterback.
Pennell comes through, makes the stop, and no gain on the play by Mostert.
He just hasn't played a lot, Kevin, through the first couple seasons. And Tim Tebow, I don't know that he's really changed a lot. He's the same guy. He has a difficult time with his accuracy in the pocket.
It's a 3rd and 2 for Barkley. Went the back, and the coverage on the play was there. Looking up, Carl Bradford.
Barkley needs to quiet his feet some. He's all over the field.
You always watch the quarterback's feet, don't you?
Well, the feet tell you everything, and you know, in this offense, it's about trusting your footwork. Your footwork will take you to the completion. When you look at a quarterback's feet, and he's all over the place, it tells you he's out of control. The Eagles now having some problems making some substitutions in the kicking game. So what happens when you have a lot of young players playing late in the game on special teams.
Jones, that was just about tapped. Jeff Janis is back. They're caught at the 10.
Oh, you got to feel that, don't you?
Yeah. 50-yard punt. Janis trying to get on this roster too. As a receiver in a break in 11:01. Gorgeous night in northeastern Wisconsin. The third quarter is sponsored by UW Health, the physicians, researchers, and healthcare professionals of UW Health. Remarkable.
Talk about the battlefield position, Kevin. The Packers 8 total possessions, 7 starting at their own 20 or worse. One possession that didn't start at the 20, started at 26, and that resulted in points for the Packers.
Unovich is left tackle. Perillo is in the backfield. Neal is the running back, and it's 1st and 10 for Hundley. He's taken every snap under center tonight. Rosen's got a concussion. Rodgers didn't suit up. Neal is devoured. No place to run, no place to hide, no gain on the play. The third quarter sideline interview is sponsored by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. To Rod Burks.
That's right, guys. We are joined by Mike Daniels, the big, bad Mike Daniels. I know, Mike, you're not too excited about the way your defense played in this first half against the Eagles.
I'm not excited at all. Not at all. So, I mean, back to the drawing board. You know, they came out here, they played a really good game. It's good for us. We need this. I've never seen this many people pissed off at a preseason game. So, now we're going into the season like, hey, we got some things to fix, rather than going into the season like, okay, let's see how we do. No, we're going into this thing knowing we need to correct some things.
Let's talk about the Packer fans. Why should they be excited about this defense going into the regular seasons when the games really count?
Because we're only going to get better. We got vets. Like I said, a lot of people on the sideline, they're not too happy right now. We know what we need to do to get better. I can guarantee everybody's going to be waiting for the film to upload on the iPad to watch it tonight so they can get it corrected. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is getting back into my tape and making sure I can improve on the ways I know I can improve on.
Are you excited about Clay Matthews? He's got a whole off-season and training camp going inside, get that position down, and he'll be switching on defense for you guys.
Clay, that's the magic, man. He could do anything. Line that guy up at gunner, line him up at safety. He's going to make something happen. So to have a weapon like that on defense gives us a lot of options with the things that we can do, and we're going to do them. So I'm looking forward to getting out there with him.
All right, this is Mike Daniels. I'm going to set it back up to Kevin Rich up there in the booth.
You got it, there's Neal right there. Mike Daniels trying to negotiate a new contract, but they reportedly are far apart. Former high school running back in New Jersey. Mike Daniels had that ankle, of course, missed the first couple preseason games and 15 days of camp with that ankle. But he is back out there now, and they got to keep him healthy.
Yeah, they really do. It was a nice run by Neal. I've seen some really good effort out of Neal tonight, really throughout the preseason.
4 carries, Rich, and 23 yards. 3rd and 1. The pitch, Neal. Then dance and dart and dive there, jumped on him. Gain of 2. He's got the first down. I love these stories, and Neal is one of them. Janice, kids that were in camp last year. Miles White, this is his 3rd training camp. You know, learning the system, improving year by year, following the regimen, and now having a legitimate shot at the roster.
And he's more ready for the opportunity, Kevin. As you point out, he's a guy that's been around. He's got a chance to learn the system. He's gotten valuable reps in the OTAs and mini camps, and now it's all seems to be coming together for him in this preseason.
Only with the 1st and 10. Walker with the block at the right tackle in time. That's White. Another catch. He's got 4. Picks up 5 right there. As he comes across the middle, brought down by Deontay Skinner out of Mississippi State at about the 26.
Well, you get a chance to see Miles White work here. He doesn't get the ball initially, but good patience, and he just throttles as he comes across the middle of the field. And a good look at Brett Hundley working through his progressions, finding that 2nd and 3rd receiver in the progression.
It's a 2nd down and 5, and It's one of the great stories in Camp Front, but he's going to have a tough time making this team. He gets 2 right there, but North Dakota State, he was a part of a team that was a 3-time FCS national champion, and last year ran for just under 2,000 yards.
Yeah, he's an impressive player, and as you always point out, Kevin, in the preseason, there's a number of scouts from a number of different teams here at Lambeau watching tonight's game.
We got 5 of them here from the Steelers, the Falcons, the Raiders, the Bears, and the Panthers, and 2 CFL teams, Montreal and Toronto. Watching this 3rd and 3. Hunley.
A little too much steam on that one. You got to learn to take some pace off of some of those throws when you're throwing to backs and tight ends working across the field, especially in close proximity. I had a quarterback coach one time said to a quarterback in our group, the closer they are, the harder you throw it. There's no reason for that.
Who said that? Come on.
Guy named Jack Burns. He was...
You know what Jack Burns is doing now?
He's watching football down in Florida.
Last day. And Neal is drilled.
Wow, that's a big time hit.
Randall. The hang time was about 4.243. And Randall was right in his grill.
Well, this is good to see. It's great to see your first-round draft pick not only make plays on defense, but make a big play and a big hit in the kicking game.
Rich, they got to get down to 75 by Tuesday, and those 2 guys and that coaching staff and Ted Thompson have got some big decisions.
Yeah, really tough decisions, Kevin, and some painful decisions. This 4th quarter could be an indication of who's in and who's out when it comes to the decisions they have to make this week.
There is Gunter. Alert staff down there picked him out. He's in. Barkley 1st and 10. Dropped. They had Banjo back there, and they were going that time for Eric Tomlinson, the rookie from Texas, El Paso, and Demetrius Goodson was there. To Olivia Harlan.
Well, head coach Mike McCarthy called him the MVP of the offseason, poised for a bigger season, a bigger role this year. What did Jordy Nelson say to you this week?
Really not much needed to be said. He knew that I'm the type of player, that can step up when I'm called upon. So I was already looking forward to having a really big season this year, with or without guys going down. So he pretty much knew that I was going to be able to step up. So he didn't really need to say that much to me.
It's just your 2nd year, enhanced responsibility, but is that enhanced pressure for you?
Not really, because like I said, I was prepared for this. So I feel like I'm made for times like this. So, 2nd year guy, but I've been through a lot, and I know what I'm doing out there. So just going to keep doing what I'm doing and improving every week.
Devontae, we know Aaron Rodgers really tests his receivers and makes you earn his trust. How has he done that at camp for you?
Well, just, those critical times where the 50-50 balls and things like that, trying to get me on subtle signals, different things like that. And he sees that I continue to pick it up. So I think that's where our trust and camaraderie continues to grow.
Devontae, thank you. Back up to the booth.
Good stuff. Thank you. Devontae Adams, boy, is now in a very interesting place. Janice retrieving the punt. And was hit on the play by Jalen Watkins. 48-yard punt, 5-yard return. A flag has been thrown at the 35-yard line. How about Devontae Adams in that conversation there, because he's got
the return, illegal block in the back, number 20
of
the return team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down, timeout.
7th penalty on the special teams. And we'll pick up the Devontae Adams conversation when we come back. 6:27 to play in the 3rd from Lambeau. Back at Lambeau, preseason game number 3. The Packers and the Eagles. 5 touchdown passes in the first half by Philly. 3 by quarterback Sam Bradford and 2 by Sanchez.
Yeah, the Eagles have looked real sharp offensively. And Packers have their work cut out for them here in the second half. Huntley, Kevin, I think, has looked pretty sharp as well. 14 of 23, 236 yards. As I said, he looks very comfortable, very poised in the pocket.
There's a notion Hunter back there with the 1st and 10. Quick decision, that's the result. Miles White. Locked down on the play by Biggers, gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, and again, he got off to a pretty good start. His movement in the pocket's been great. Patient, keeping his eyes down the field. We've seen him make a lot of plays outside the tackle box. His accuracy overall has been really nice. But he's not afraid to stick it in the tight window. He's just looked really, done a nice job controlling his emotions in what I'm sure was a very exciting opportunity for him to start his first preseason game here at Lambeau.
The 2nd down and 4 right here for Brett Hundley. 5th round pick, UCLA. White is outside, still fighting his way into Jerome Copeland at about the 28-yard line. They got him late because the school spring semester finished late at Stanford, so he came a little bit late. But the difference, they say, night and day from when he arrived to where he is now with mechanics, footwork, and the rest.
Yeah, he had a lot of catching up to do, but I think they've tried to streamline some things. I think his mechanics are improving. Kevin, I think his footwork's getting better. I think his delivery, he's speeding things up. He's playing well within the scheme.
It's a 1st down and 10 from the 28. Neal.
He bounced well. He does a nice job getting on the edge.
Flag back at the 26.
He's got better speed than you think when he gets out on the corner.
Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
Kennard Backman. Rookie out of Alabama, Birmingham, a 3-year starter, 6th round pick. Looks like 4 tight ends again on this roster, and he's vying for one of them.
He started 37 of a possible 48 games in his 4-year career at UAB. And move him around a little bit. You see him line up in the backfield.
Rotherham is now playing the right guard. 1st and 20 for Green Bay. Hundley, Neal, and grabbed on the play by Deontay Skinner with a gain of a yard. Aaron Rodgers had an interesting quote this week, Rich. He said, in order to be a good offense, you have to innovate every single year. You have to evolve. You have to make sure you're making subtle changes to stay ahead of the scouting reports. We're doing a good job with that. We are right where we want to be, when, of course, he is at the helm. But they are continuing to add to it already as a very thick playbook. 2nd down, 19. Good throw. Good catch. That's the tight end rookie Beckman. We're just talking about him. Leaping grab for 15 to the 34. But what Rodgers says is true, and I know you believe it.
Yeah, really. You get a good look at the tight end. He does a nice job holding on to this one as he gets lit up by the safety, Ed Reynolds. But I agree with Aaron Rodgers, Kevin. I think you're always trying to get better in this offense. It's always evolving, and again, a lot of change with Tom Clements taking over as the play caller for Mike McCarthy. It seems like it's been a seamless transition because Mike and Tom have been together for the better part of a decade.
3rd and 4 here. They get by Walker. It's a wobbler. Oh, White struck with it, was held on the play, makes the grab. Biggers was there. They're going to get it. The Packers are going to get that ball. It's going to be in Philly territory. And White has been a star as a receiver tonight, making a huge stand into that roster.
Defense automatic. 1st down.
Well, they're working on Biggers, and Hundley gives him a chance, but you're right, Kevin. Great concentration here as he gets pulled down prior to the catch, right across his face, and is able to catch it with one hand.
Great catch.
It's a really nice effort there by Miles White. He's certainly making a case for himself tonight in terms of how that wide receiver group could look when it's all said and done here in about 10, 12 days.
Rotherham, who's undrafted out of Pitt, let the guy in the pressure through. 7 catches for White and 65 yards. 1st and 10, caught by Janis. Here is the other story among the receivers. Copeland makes the stop, 16-yard strike right there to the 30-yard line of Philadelphia.
Boy, you love those bigger receivers that can go in the middle of the field and make the catch. I think where Janis can really help you is after the catch. The talked about his straight line speed.
He's big too. I mentioned earlier one of the issues though is the attention to detail as a route runner, as a receiver.
Yeah, he's got to get things cleaned up. He's got to learn to be a more precise route runner in the system.
He'll decide to Huntley on a 1st and 10. The blitz is on. Neal picks it up, and that opens up that pass right there. Caught on the play by Larry Pincard out of Old Dominion, undrafted in a rookie, and it's a flag thrown after the 12-yard pickup, which takes him inside the Philly 20. That's on the Eagles.
In the area of the quarterback. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. 1st down.
Well, it's a couple times now they've got Hundley late. I like the fact, Kevin, that he's been sitting in there. They've been bringing internal pressure, and he's made some good throws down the field. Just watch him sit in here now. He knows he's going to get hit. You get him for going low on the quarterback.
How about Neal, too, the young running back with the block that brought Hundley some time. From the 9, Hundley. Throws it back in, 1st and goal. The dive to the 3. He picks up 5 on the play. I mean, he's exhausting his reads, isn't he, Rich?
Yeah, again, he's not pulling it down too soon. He's going through his progressions. He's working the receivers. It feels a little bit of pressure around his legs. He steps up. He holds onto the football, keeps his eyes down the field, and pulls it down. Protects himself and is able to pick up 5 yards.
21 of 30 for 316 yards through the air for Hundley. Nice performance. 2nd down and goal. Neal slows him down. Backman to the pylon. Touchdown. Go to the crowd, my friend.
They had to help him.
The welcoming party. Get up there.
They had to show him the way.
Hoist that big body up. Touchdown pass. 4-yard touchdown pass by Hundley.
Well, that's got to feel good.
Oh. Like I said before, if nothing else, kid can tell his grandkids he made the
Scored
Lambeau
a touchdown
leap after a touchdown. Yeah, how about that?
Tell him. He can show him.
That's why I tell my grandkids I'm going to tell them that I work with the great Rich Gannon.
Oh, jeez.
I am. They'll take a look at it. Every scoring play reviewed.
Let's see if that knee was down first before the ball crossed the line.
He gave a good effort, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure
and he had a
did.
good catch. Remember, to catch that one in back on this drive, too.
Bernard Backman making some catches, and he's in the flat. Nice job extending the ball. I think that's going to be a touchdown.
I think it is, too. Eric Rowe was trying to cut him off and bring him down.
On that right knee.
Crew right on it.
Tough to tell. I think it may
have crossed. I think the ball was across.
I think the tackler's arm was underneath the shin of the tight end, and I think he gets that across. I think that's going to be hard to overturn.
Has to be indisputable evidence it was not a touchdown.
Right.
Because it was called a touchdown. While we have this little break, I'm going to step aside here, and all Packer fans sad with the passing of former Packers treasurer and executive committee member John Underwood. Passed away this past Tuesday. John was about as important a man that this organization had had at an intersection of some very steep financial concerns. His business was banking. Integrity was the shield he wore. Friendly guy and a Packer fan and a Packer board member and an executive committee member through and through. He gave great service to this organization. It's incalculable what he meant to that executive committee during his long-term run from the early 90s to just past 2000. John Underwood passing away this week. Our thoughts, prayers with his family. Services will be this week.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
Right call, I believe. Good play for Beck.
And a chance to go for two.
9-play, 83-yard drive.
A little unusual formation. They've got the back lined up behind the tight end in the backfield.
Going for two. Backman was back there, gunning it through the hands of White. I don't know if it was tipped, but Backman comes up with a terrific diving touchdown. But the 2-point could not be converted. Backman right there for 6 for the Packers. Packers kicked it off. Flag is thrown here. Neal took it out near the 19-yard line, and there's a flag and first down.
83 offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
22nd total penalty in the game.
Sloppy.
How about that?
A lot of young players playing.
Third Eagle quarterback is Matt Barkley. He goes outside on the 1st and 15. Caught by Rasheed Bailey, the rookie out of Delaware Valley, and a gain of 3.
Well, let's go back and take a look at the touchdown earlier, Kevin. The receiver going to the flat. You've got the tight end in the flat. You've got the quarterback that comes out, and they try and cut on the edge. Really nice execution here by Hundley, finding his tight end in the flat.
Second down and 12. Mostert, the gain of 2. And all kinds of guys. But Bruce Gaston is at the bottom of the pile. There he is, number 99. J. Ron Elliott, he was the star of the defense. It seemed a lot of last training camp, trying to etch his name more prominently defensively.
Elliott had a great game against the Patriots in week 1. Made a lot of tackles. I think he had a team high 7 tackles. In on a couple sacks.
Third quarter, Rich, has come to a close. Full moon overhead. Beautiful night in northeastern Wisconsin. Close to Lake Michigan. The Eagles by 19 to the 4th we go on the Packers Television Network. Quarter sponsored by Goodwill. Goodwill, believe in the power of work. Our crew doing a great job working tonight here at Lambeau with terrific shots. Here's Scott Tolzien, concussion. He's gone through the protocol.
Didn't practice all week. Get the chance to watch some of the younger quarterbacks tonight.
Starting the 4th quarter, here's a 3rd and 10. Barkley drilled as he throws. He stuck in there well, took it like a man, and gets the pass away, and it was caught for a gain of 12 by Freddie Martino from North Greenville. And the gain is to the 31 with the first down. Philadelphia's first down this half. Barkley was drafted out of SC. He was a heralded high school quarterback. Outside pass here. Goes to Kinney, and it's a gain of a yard on the pass. Wheeled outside to the 32. Dimitri Goodson, who had some calf issues in camp and out there playing tonight with the coverage, former basketball player. Goodson.
And a good one at that.
He was. Second down and 9. No, you mean Gonzaga. He was a college player at basketball at Gonzaga. Second and 9. Talk about Joe Thomas, but that's what you meant, right?
That's what I meant.
You were thinking football. I'm thinking basketball. You're thinking football.
You know, even we're talking about the pace, the tempo with which the Eagles play offensively, and it's even different with Barkley in there, Kevin. It's not as fast, not as quick as we saw with Bradford and Sanchez.
Goodson tested here, 3rd and 9. Mostert was 3rd and 6. Mostert was flying On the sideline, it's incomplete. And Mostert began the game with a 67-yard kickoff return for Philadelphia. They build upon that. The first 3 possessions, 3 consecutive touchdown passes. And then there was a pick 6. That's the way the game started. And it was as quick as you could think, 25-zip.
Yeah, before they could blink their eye.
Janice is back to the 11. Flag. And tackled special team Eric Rowe. Packers special teams tonight, 7 penalties totaling 45 yards. Saw the flag there.
You got young players out of position and they grab. It's the first thing they do.
During the kick, holding number 24 return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down, timeout.
Speaking of basketball, he played basketball at Miami of Ohio. In 1 year of college football, he's that good. He was a second-round pick. Please step aside. Singing rollout, the barrel. Look at hardly anybody's left. The team was down 25-0. They were down 39-14. You just don't see this. I was in Jacksonville last night. Of course, the weather was threatening, but half full. We were in Pittsburgh last week, half full. Here from the 5, Crockett, first and 10, and he busts free into the secondary. 18-yard run by John Crockett. He missed a couple of months with a high ankle sprain at the beginning of June. Came back late to camp, trying to make a dent.
You know, we know what we've got in Eddie Lacy and James Starks, but both Rajon Neal and John Crockett, Kevin, have really looked terrific this preseason.
First and 10. Down outside here with Harold Spears making the grab, 6-yard pickup to the side. New quarterback is Matt Blanchard.
Look at that record in college, Kevin. 45-0. 3 Division III national crowns at UW-Whitewater. And Mike McCarthy really likes Matt Blanchard. He said he's an NFL quarterback. He just gotta let this thing play out.
Rocket second and 4. When he's making a lead block there. Look at him just plow his way ahead. Brzezinski makes the stop. Gain of 8 on second down and 4. Crockett takes it out to the 36.
The thing that helps Blanchard, if you're a general manager or coach out there and you're looking for a quarterback, you like the fact that Blanchard has been around Mike McCarthy. He's been around Tom Clements for the last 5 or 6 months. He's been learning offensive football. He's been taught and coached on footwork and timing and decision making. I think this guy's got a chance to stick in the National Football League. They really liked him in Chicago a couple of years ago.
Andy Phillips is the new center for Green Bay. Blanchard, here they come. Crockett lunging and making the grab, and there goes a flag, loss of 5.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 56, defense, for low contact on the quarterback.
Ryan Brayman.
15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
I think it's the 3rd one now on the Eagles tonight, Kevin. A bunch of late hits on the quarterback, and a couple of them have been low. You see right there. That's the one they get you on.
Blanchard, when he won the 2 national championships at Division III Wisconsin Whitewater, threw 44 touchdowns during those years, 5 picks, 26. He's been in 4 NFL camps. This is his 4th. Sat out all of last season after a concussion in Panthers camp. Carolina. Beneath White. He's down to the 45. He picks up 4 on the play. Rod Brooks is on the sideline.
Thank you, guys. We're joined by Sam Barrington out of South Florida, going in his 3rd year. Came on real strong for this football team and this defense last year. How excited are you about your role in this defense coming off of last year?
I'm very much so excited, not particularly just because of what I get to do, but more about the guys I get to work with. I'm excited about all the guys on defense, and it's fun coming to work with those guys.
Now, a lot of the guys are looking into you as the leader of this defense. How did that happen for you?
Outside of it just being assumed, by the inside linebacker, having that role, I think is a personality I bring. I love the game. I love having teammates and being able to go to those guys and those guys be able to come to me. It's just a personality match. Guys appreciate certain personalities.
And how excited are you to have B.J. Raji back in the fold at nose guard for you guys this year?
I'm definitely excited, not just because of the way he plays the game, but the presence he brings to that defensive line meeting room. He's able to offer those guys an alternative perspective from a guy who's been in the league as long as he has, because we have a very young defensive line. And so I'm looking forward to it, and I'm happy to have him back.
Sam Barrington, number 58. We're going to send it back up to Kevin up in the booth.
You got it, thank you. They go outside here. It's caught by Miles White. Knocked out of bounds by Brzezinski. Just finishing up Sam Barrington. Pleasant surprise last season. Remember, he replaced Jamari Lattimore last season, and A.J. Hawk was benched for Barrington. Began to play exclusively mid-season. Last quarter of the year, he was there, and as Rod just said, he's being counted on to anchor that middle.
He got better with reps, Kevin, as the season went along. Finished with 68 tackles and made a lot of plays in the middle of the field for that Packers defense.
1st and 10. 8-yard pickup right there. On the 26 of Philadelphia. Blanchard to the end zone. And complete for White.
Well, you can just see his arm strength. He just flicked the last 2 throws.
He did just flick it. You're right.
Threw one to Pinkard before, and watch this, just flicks this one out there, just a bit overthrown in the corner of the end zone for Miles White.
He's working on the 7-year veteran E.J. Biggers too. White, great night, Rich. 9 catches, 89 yards.
Yeah, he's looked really sharp.
Here comes Janis, 2nd and 10. Crockett, Janis trying to get a block and then going right through Copeland. And a loss of a yard. There's kind of that line of demarcation in the 3rd preseason game, first half to the second half. You're going to go through the dress rehearsal in the first half. From the second half on, it's all about who's going to play special teams, how are the last 5 to 7 roster spots going to look.
A lot of these players are getting extended playing time, Kevin. Some real opportunity to put some good plays on tape.
3rd down and 11. Good block by Crockett. Oh, what a catch by Janis! All this kid does is catch touchdown passes. 27-yard strike. You're looking for a replacement. You're looking to bolster your wide receivers. It may come with number 83. It may come with number 19. And the Packers have gotten a touchdown pass of 27 yards from quarterback Matt Blanchard to Jeff Janis.
Well, they got man-to-man coverage in the slot, a little seam route, and a really nice touch throw here by Blanchard. The back of the end zone for Jeff Janis and into the crowd for the Lambeau lead.
Biggest, fastest wide receiver in camp is Janis. Last year had touchdown receptions of 33 and 34. He's got a couple here this preseason.
I'm not surprised to see the Packers come out and play a whole lot better here in the second half.
That was a 10-play, 95-yard drive. Blanchard. And looking for Pinkard, which is incomplete in the coverage by Jalen Watkins. Opportunity awaits. Somebody unknown. Maybe it's Jeff Janis. Big and fast and hauls in another touchdown reception. Rich, is there a place in the NFL for Blanchard if it's not here? Could it be someplace else, you think?
I think there's a real shortage for quarterbacks, Kevin, with some experience in this league. And there's a lot of teams looking for depth and talent at that position. So you get a good look at Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy talking about players and decisions that they have to make in the next couple days. As you mentioned, they have to get down to 75, and they've got some tough decisions to make with this roster.
Yeah, that was a great shot by our crew of those guys talking. Ted Thompson was quoted in the Journal-Sentinel as saying that this is going to be such a difficult cut to get from where they are now, 87, 88 players down to 75. And then you got to get to 53. And the discussion literally taking place during the game, caught by our cameras.
Yeah, it's painful. These are painful decisions. You develop relationships with these players. These are players that you drafted or you traded for. You signed in free agency, and you want to see them do well, but you can't keep them all. And the other thing to make it more challenging and more difficult decisions, you've got some players, Kevin, that haven't been able to practice because of injury. So you've got to try and figure out, where they are.
You're talking about the injuries, and of course that's where you hope that some of the depth you're building can fill some of the void. And here were the injuries tonight, and going back to last week with Jordy and the ACL of the right knee. Cobb tonight early in the game, a shoulder, and we know nothing more than that. Sitton didn't play but the ankle. Lang had the concussion last week in Pittsburgh. Balaga hurt his ankle tonight. Hyde hurt his neck tonight.
Yeah, and even a guy like Jared Eberderis, he's the 5th round pick a year ago. He's been out with the concussion, Kevin, most of training camp. So, it's hard to make. I always say it's hard to make the club when you're in the tub. I mean, when you don't practice and you don't play, it's hard to make a fair evaluation of what these players can do in critical situations. And they've got some tough decisions to make at some key positions. Linebacker, cornerback. I think wide receiver, certainly because of the injury to Jordy Nelson. We talked about there's got to be a sense of urgency and accelerated learning curve for guys like Jeff Janis and Ty Montgomery. Devontae Adams' role is going to change in the offense, obviously.
Bob McGinn with the Journal-Sentinel did a quick study, Rich. He said just 4 starting players for the Packers have suffered a season-ending injury in a preseason game since '86, and they include Desmond Bishop, B.J. Raji, and Jordy Nelson. That's since 1986. Wow. Guys that were going to be starters. And Bob McGinn with the Sentinel came up with that. The best reads in the NFL. There's a look at Aaron Rodgers. He did not suit up tonight.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Penalty called on Philly. He's screwing around down there. Tim Tebow is the new quarterback for Philadelphia. What have you seen in camp from him?
Well, he's had limited reps, and it's hard when you've been out of football for so long. And, he's got to beat out Matt Barkley for that 3rd job, and he's a different type of player. Kevin, he's more of a runner than a passer, and it's hard to survive. I say all the time, you show me a quarterback that's a great runner, I'll show you a quarterback that can't play and function in the pocket, and that's the problem with Tim Tebow. Look at those career numbers, 47% completion percentage. That's not going to find you a job in the NFL.
Monangai is the running back, 2nd and 13. He gets another call. He's on a Villanova. Monangai. 8-yard pickup. And we got some jawing back and forth. Tebow was working with the SEC network. Working with ESPN. There's Waters. They've been playing him a little bit outside, too. They've been kind of going inside and outside with Waters. They want to give him exposure to both positions, which the undrafted rookie out of Stanford probably should take as a compliment. They must see something there.
Absolutely. The more things you can do, the better chance you have of making this football team.
3rd down, 5, Tebow. On the move, Rasheed Bailey makes the grab. We're in Jeremy Macklin's old number 18, gain of 7, and that is a 1st down.
Just think about the players that they lost from the offense last year. They're starting quarterback, starting running back, starting wide receiver, starting guard. I mean,
everybody.
Chip Kelly, as I said before, is not afraid to make difficult decisions. He wants the players that he feels are best suited for his offense.
Traded Boykin, got rid of Mathis on the line.
Absolutely.
My gosh. 1st and 10. Tebow. Mozart. Well, Rich, he obviously has a firm design. Josh Francis makes the Green Bay stop near the 32. He must have in his mind, he's only been there a couple years, trying to formulate the kind of team and texture he wants on both sides of the ball.
And he's been, I think, unfairly criticized by some former players that think that, there was other reasons why they're no longer with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it really boils down to performance, production, and who's the best fit and who can help them win a championship.
Whoops! That's recovered by the Packers. Nope. And then I think Tebow got it back. Well, maybe we'll see now. Start grabbing him, pulling him, digging him, churning. Tebow hasn't played for the last couple of years. How hard? Can you just imagine how hard
It really
it's
is.
to not play and then come back after a 2-year layoff?
You know, part of if I was working with Tim Tebow, Kevin, a couple things I'd do. First and foremost, I'd ban him from the weight room. I wouldn't let him go in the weight room.
Too much, you think?
Yeah, you look at him, I mean, he looks like a fullback out there. I think it's affected his stroke.
3rd and 14. Mostert with a nice easy lob. And the subsequent chase by the Packers and Gaston, among others, jumping on him, 8-yard pickup.
He's a little bit like He's a little bit like Tiger Woods. He's had too many people messing with his swing. Too many different swing coaches, and he's had a lot of people try and work with his mechanics and his throwing motion to the point where I think sometimes he overthinks it. And you know, you look at those career numbers. I said 47%. And as much as everybody likes Tim Tebow, as much as everybody wants to see him do well, if you're not accurate, you're not going to last in the NFL.
Janis getting the Donnie Jones punt. 50-yard punt, 10-yard return. Tim Tebow, part of the story tonight at Lambeau in preseason game number 3.
Well, welcome back to Lambeau. Miles White has had a really strong night tonight for the Packers at wide receiver. 9 catches for 89 yards. He's made some difficult grabs look easy. This one on the sidelines in the first half. Great job with his concentration there, and even his route running. Does a nice job looking back inside before he breaks outside, losing E.J. Biggers, the corner for the Philadelphia Eagles. Look at those numbers: 9 catches, 89 yards, averaging just under 10 yards a grab.
Watch that 1st and 10. Urinovich with a block, and then, he got up under that time. Alfie Hill, a rookie from Winston-Salem State. He loses a yard on the play, back to about the 26.
A little bit of unexpected good fortune for Hill. Blanchard ran right into the tackle.
Urinovich was holding on to an arm. Number 60, the left tackle. Let's go downstairs to Olivia Harlan.
Well, Aaron Rodgers played 47 snaps in the first 2 games, led 5 drives, but then he said this week he had enough preseason work, although considerably less than the previous years. Now this brings up a bigger issue as Rodgers was very vocal about reducing the preseason after Jordy Nelson's season-ending injury, and of course more Packer injuries tonight. A topic of discussion around the league at the completion. Send it back to you.
It was. Ed Williams makes the grab. Yeah, Olivia brings up some good points about the numbers. He felt he has had enough. He is right where he wants to be. We read the quote earlier in the broadcast. He feels like he is right where he needs to be as we edge toward the beginning of the season.
Yeah, he doesn't need a lot of work, Kevin. When you look at what this guy's been able to accomplish, the touchdown to interception ratio last year was incredible. 38 touchdowns, just 5 picks, and all 5 of those interceptions came on the road.
Second 3 toss right here. It's caught by Ed Williams, who picks up 11. He is the first player, Ed Williams is, number 5, to wear number 5 since an obscure kicker 27 years ago. It's Paul Horning's own number 5. Not many people have worn it. Williams has got it. Fort Hays State, undrafted, 1st and 10. Blanchard. And they've got their man, Pincard, 43-yard line of Philadelphia, moving downfield. Timeouts. Packers had 3 8-yard pickup right there.
They could win this game, Kevin. I mean, they looked really sharp here the last 2 drives. 9 plays for 83 yards and a touchdown. 10 plays, 95 yards, and a score in that last drive.
2nd down and 2. Whoa, Ed Williams. Houston brought down on the play by Denzel Rice out of Coastal Carolina, a rookie.
Blanchard, he's just having fun. He's just flicking the ball out. He's got very good arm strength. You can see that.
1st and 10. 3.5 to go. All 3 timeouts for the Packers. Blanchard, he wants it deep. His receiver stopped and it's picked off. Intercepted by Randall Evans out of Kansas State. 2nd turnover.
Well, you're right. There's some communication breakdown there. I think Blanchard thought the receiver was going to take it deep to the corner. Pincard broke it off.
Flag, Rich, 38. Let's see who it's on.
personal foul, number 77 offense, for contacting a player who is already on the ground. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the interception.
That's the center.
First down.
Andy Phillips out of Central Michigan. His alma mater is going to take on Oklahoma State next week to open up the college football season.
See James Camp in there, the offensive line coach, coaching him up.
Eagles will take over. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the NFL is prohibited.
When did they take out the word strictly prohibited? It's always, you know, you've read thousands of them.
It's strictly prohibited in the regular season, but in the preseason they're a little lax.
See, I was paying attention. I pay attention to the promos.
Tebow with the handoff. Gain of 6 on the play is Villanova's Anangai. Banjo with a tackle.
Sometimes you don't need to see a good hit. You can hear it.
I heard that. Did you hear that? Did you feel it? Sometimes you can feel it.
Up in the booth.
Yeah.
You hear that snap, crackle, and pop.
Look at all the motion by those coaches on the sideline, top of your screen.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? A lot of hand signals.
And a lot of camouflage.
Yeah, a lot of receivers. And looking at over there for
Tebow on second 4. Makes a miss. Close to the first, picks up 5. He got it with the dive. He's to the 31. There's always been the talk about making him a tight end, making him a fullback. You know, he could play H-back.
Look at those legs.
But
he doesn't look like a quarterback, does he? Look at all, they're all wearing, they have these red bands. Some are live, some are dummies.
See, they're all looking over there, and then all those signals come out. Watch this now. Here they go.
You got
dummy signals come from a couple. There's only one guy over there who is live.
Yeah, so you have the running backs looking at one coach. You've got tight ends looking at another coach. You've got receivers looking at another coach. The offensive line looking at a coach.
Think of the detail. Think of the complexity.
Yep.
Think of the complexity. The Wisconsin Lottery presents the 2-minute warning. Packers scratch games are on sale now with a bonus drawing for a private suite for 2 games for 25 people. It's a good deal. Learn more at wilottery.com. It's the 2-minute warning. Tebow and Kelly, the discussion. Eagles on top. We're at the 2-minute warning. It's a great shirt, that Brewers logo with the Packers and the familiar Brewers emblem, and of course the Badgers in there too. That's a great shirt.
I think you refer to him as a homer.
Or a good, solid citizen. Either one. Being a Wisconsin,
both works.
Being a guy from Wisconsin, that's a good, solid citizen. 1st and 10, 3 timeouts apiece. Anangai. He goes flying downfield. Bradford catches him from behind. Bradford making some progress here and there, gain of 12. Coming up on the American Family Insurance postgame report, we'll name the Wisconsin Department of Transportation Player of the Game. Looking ahead also to next week's game against New Orleans, coming to Green Bay on Thursday. We'll have some final thoughts on the game tonight. All that in the American Family Insurance postgame report. Out hanging around, another big crowd. The tailgating was terrific. Driving into Lambeau late this afternoon. Weather held. Perfect night for football. And again, the Packers deeper into their search for the final 53. Just down handoff. We're going to lose one of our sideline reporters tonight. For the rest of the preseason, our Olivia Harlan is headed to her assignment at ESPN. Thank her for her great service for the 3 games. And Rod Burks has been a terrific mentor for her on the sideline. And we got Rod next week. You can always go with Rocket Rod. So we are thankful for all the people that have worked for us. Lance hosting that 3-game show and doing such a great job in setting up every preseason game with Wayne Larrabee, the radio voice of the Packers, Larry McCarron, Mark Tauscher, all in the direction of Carl Mall. These great people to work with. Rich and I always say this about the best time of the year for us is
great,
the month of August.
And we're going to miss Olivia. She's doubling up next week. She's got 2 games next week.
She's got a game in against Oklahoma State. Then she goes down to Baton Rouge on Saturday. There's Coach Kelly and Coach McCarthy shaking. Here are some of the positives tonight. Janice now has 4 touchdown receptions in 7 games preseason as he makes a stab with the vacancy left with the injury. Jordy Nelson. Miles White made a big statement, Rich, tonight with his 9 receptions.
Yeah, it was good to see some of the young receivers step up. And, of course, hats off to Brett Hundley. Thought he had an outstanding performance here tonight at Lambeau.
Rajon Neal, good too. 84 total yards from scrimmage. We come back with more after this.